Trump administration blames Iran for oil tanker attacks in Middle East.
Here's a summary of the article.
Washington, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo on Thursday blamed Iran for attacks earlier in the day on oil tankers in the Gulf of Oman near Iran and the Strait of Hormuz, a vital shipping route through which much of the world's oil passes. The international community condemns Iran's assault on the freedom of navigation and the targeting of innocent civilians, he said, adding that the U.S. will defend its forces, interests and partners. The Pentagon said in a statement that the U.S. Navy's Fifth Fleet received 2 separate distress calls from the oil tankers shortly after the attacks. Last month, the Pentagon announced it was sending additional U.S. troops, drones and fighter jets to the Middle East amid increasing tensions between Washington and Tehran. The deployment will include approximately 1,500 U.S. military personnel and consist of a Patriot battalion to defend against missile threats, additional intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance aircraft, an engineer element to provide force protection improvements throughout the region and a fighter aircraft squadron to provide additional deterrence and depth to our aviation response options, Acting Secretary of Defense Patrick Shanahan wrote in a May 24 statement. The movement of additional U.S. forces to the region is the Trump administration's latest effort to pressure Tehran over its support for weapons proliferation and extremist groups in the Middle East. The U.S. designated Iran's Revolutionary Guard as a terrorist group.
This post received a score of 21,257, with an upvote ratio of 89%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Okay, so if this was Iran, what motivation would they have to do this, hypothetically? I'm not asking if they did or did not, but someone paint me a scenario that explains a possible motivation. I'm not seeing it. Modern Iran is not an irrational actor. They're still a fundamentalist Islamic republic, but they seemingly have no reason to invite conflict.
The official story was to raise oil prices, which it did. The fact they were Japanese tankers while the PM of Japan was in Iran is very odd. I can't think of any reason why Iran would plan that at the state level.
So the current theory pushed by the U.S. government is that Iran torpedoed 2 ships from the starboard side of the vessels to raise oil prices. One of the ships was Japanese-owned and the PM of Japan is in Tehran right now. The explosions were above the waterline, which would disqualify a torpedo from the list of potential weapons, and none of the crew have said they saw a missile hit their ships. Iran sent out the first ships to respond to the SOS call.
They're the only ones I can think of who could try to create such an unsubtle and incompetent attempt at fanning the flames of conflict in the region. These Arab states are and have been fighting Iran for a very long time now. They are the only party I can think of that has nothing to lose and everything to gain by bringing the U.S. into direct conflict against their rival, Iran. Both tankers today were on their way from Saudi Arabia and the UAE, and investigators so far had said that that caused the explosion, one that, I assume, could have been planted in the Arab ports they were leaving.
Greater than they are the only party I can think of that has nothing to lose and everything to gain by bringing the U.S. into direct conflict against their rival, Iran. Israel too, but I'd expect Mossad to be a bit more subtle. I figure Mossad is subtle enough to do it unsubtly and make it look like the Saudis. Haha, good point.
Great, so now we're back to nobody has any clue as to what the fuck is going on, so let's just bomb Iran anyway and get WWIII over with so we can have radioactive mutants and shit.
Greater than get WWIII over with so we can have radioactive mutants and shit. You know, that would have been enticing before Fallout 76 got released, but now I'm not really looking forward to the apocalypse so much anymore.
Yeah, it's going to be super buggy.
Greater than Pompeo said without citing specific evidence as to why Tehran was responsible. I'm so tired of being expected to take these guys at their word when they have demonstrated no reason for me to trust them. I'm also tired of being surrounded by people who trust these guys when they've demonstrated no reason to be trusted.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.